Da 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 da! What's my good cheer? Welcome, everybody. Let's give YouTube a couple of minutes, get those notifications out, let people know I've gone live. And in the meantime, if you've never met me before, hi, I'm Cindy. I explore the inside and the outside, and I have been exploring the inside in that little bit of unsureness, in that little bit of, well, my way of pushing back at that insecure kind of self talk that I give to myself. I am somebody who likes to pride herself on being brave and courageous, but lots of times it's making those moves anyway. It's not like I'm not afraid or I'm not nervous or I'm not insecure, right? I don't know. It's just, I know I have to keep moving. And I've been that way my entire life. And a lot of times it's because you have to just accept the way that things are sometimes. And sometimes that's the only way that you can move forward because, right, everything sometimes seems to come at you, not in this moment, like everything seems to come at me in this moment, but I'm just thinking, and it is in the lessons that I've taken today. And a lot of that is in the movement that we should be taking. Each one of us taking a different route, having different experiences and different adventures. But nonetheless, right, we are moving and we are experiencing that unsureness, that little bit of nervousness. So, we do search out, or we do stall ourselves out even sometimes in the anticipation that it'll come to us, right? When in all actuality, sometimes all you can do is just let it go and see how it all lands, how it all plays out. You know, I had no idea when I gave my notice at work 2 weeks ago, and I'm in my last week, and I'm not going to have a job at the end of the week. When we talk about unsuredness, that's pretty unsured, right? Because I knew I had to do it, right? I knew it was something that I was procrastinating on. It's something that I knew for a while now, but again because of that unsuredness, right? What's going to put the roof over my head? I'm thinking to myself. And so we stall out in making these moves that we're being called to make, that we know is the right decision, but because we don't know how we're going to land. And this has been the conversation for myself in the past few days. And, you know, I'm keeping myself busy, but a lot of that is in getting close to the topics and to the goals and the anticipations and the expectations and just feeling it out there, knowing that, it will come to me if I reach for it, if I move towards it. So, right? So I find myself today immersing myself in topics that I don't know if I'm thinking that I'm not filled in, that I haven't become well aware of in these topics, where I think I might have slacked in the filling of those gaps of my understandings, that maybe in rushing something I didn't do it properly, and so I go back in and I'm right. It's just like when you finish a test in school early and you got then an extra 5 minutes, you're going to go backwards on everything to double check to see, did you, right, cross all your T's? How was everything? Did you miss something? Did you interpret something wrong? Right? Did you rush through something? And so these are the things that I do. And this is in my own limiting beliefs, maybe. This is the way I have always been. And it interferes in my life in that way that sometimes makes it hard to even want to move forward because you're just always pushing up. You're always questioning yourself. You're always accepting, right? When lots of times you shouldn't accept. And that was a big problem for me, just accepting the way things were, not believing that I had a say in the matter. I always had a say in the matter. But being that people pleaser, being that person who doesn't want to rock the boat, right? That doesn't want to cause waves, don't want to be considered the troublemaker, right? Kind of go with the flow because it serves you too. It's easy. There's no effort, right? There's no pushback. We are in a time of change, and I think I may have just thrown the wrench into my own engine. But like I said, it was something that should have been done a while ago. And because, right, I wasn't listening to myself, that I wasn't taking the initiative, that I was stalling out in that unsuredness, that I had to make bold moves, right? Or maybe I didn't make a bold move. Maybe I didn't even bring up courage. Maybe it was just out of the frustration of, right, not paying attention that I finally paid attention. I have been in my days off the past couple of days, and you know, I've been working in the projects, and sometimes you gotta make a mess to clean a mess. And in putting that wrench into my life, I made a little bit of a mess, but I'm going to clean it up, right? And not like how I'm going to clean it up. I'm just going to start and just see, right? Who joins me in? Who gives me a hand, right? What tools do I have that I've never tried before that'll make the job a little bit easier, right? Can I whistle while I work? Which is what I've been trying to do today. And I have been doing a pretty good job at that. I got my air conditioner in. I was so happy. That was a big project for me. And it wasn't that I was procrastinating in it because, right, spring isn't even here, let alone summer and in the need of that air conditioner. But it's set up. It's ready to go, and I'll be able to put that energy towards something else. And what that something else, I don't know. But I bet you I'll be happy that I've got this done and out of the way, that it might not have to take away from something more important, right? Spring cleaning. I'm calling it spring cleaning. Actually, the idea, I was already into it. I was already doing it, but then in taking those lessons and then again searching out those those um those solutions, right? That follow me, that next direction I'm supposed to be going in. I'm taking in lessons and you know, Ryan Holiday. This is the content that was being suggested to me, and I take my lessons from all kinds of leadership. I am not prejudiced in any way, and I guess because of my non-denomination, that I'm able to give that respect where respect is due because it's most definitely deserved, right? Because it's all the same information. It's just presented in a way that targets a certain a certain group, whether that group is a religious group or a political group, whether it's a stoic or law of attraction, whatever it is, right? That it fits perfectly for all of us. And I am grateful that I believe, and I really do believe it takes all kinds to make the world, that it's in our diversity that we're going to be able to get along better with others, right? And because we are now in that diversity ourselves, right? Being more tolerant of others, understanding a little bit that it takes all kinds to make the world that we're actually interacting, and not just interacting in ways that make us friends, but in some ways and in lots of ways makes us family, like even blood, right? That we are in that way of moving forward in our evolution, bringing that diversity right into the next stage of evolution. And that's pretty incredible, right? To be able not to be so narrow-minded in that. And it's gonna serve us, it's gonna serve us well, right? And that's again in the lessons I take. And Ryan Holiday, when I first got introduced to his content, I'm saying, oh my goodness, I had such a tough life, right? It was so miserable, and it was so hard, and right. And I'm supposed to take some more. I want the popcorn and the cotton candy and the rainbows and the couch and the remote control. I don't want to work hard, right? I don't want to take it on the cheek or take one for the team, right? Or turn the other cheek. I don't want that. I've had enough of that. Just to recognize that, you know what? There are lessons in that. That thought leadership comes from all different types of characters, all different types of communities and networks, and right? Religious ideas and spiritual ideas, cultural ideas. And we are all now a mix, like a good old Heinz 57. It's a sauce made up all of different kinds of flavors and spices, and right. And as a kid, I used to love that on my eggs. It's a very British kind of sauce, that HP, Heinz 57. I remember that. And I may buy a bottle. Anyway, it's been a long time since I've had a bottle of the Heinz 57, and I really enjoyed it. But that's the idea, is to experience different, to experience things we've never tried before, and find out for ourselves whether or not it's something that we can incorporate into our lives, right? So I've been rolling all this kind of stuff in my brain, and I bring it to my live. I bring it to my live show, and I waited right to the very end of my day, because I was looking to be inspired. I was hoping that direction, or that finger pointing, go that way. This is right, or that insight coming from a thought leader out there, right? Even if it's a toughie, because those stoic ideas are toughies. They truly are. But you know what? When life is tough, when life is divvying it out, and you think you can't take any more, those stoic ideas will get you through. And maybe that's why, right? You came across my path today, because I am in that crossroads of my life, that I threw that wrench into my own life, that I kind of made a mess, and now I'm about to clean it up. And I need some of those stoic ideas, possibly, right? Because I've got to be a little bit tough on myself. I have to be a little bit vigilant, because naturally I do want that couch and the remote control, right? I gave my 2 weeks notice. I'm not going to have that job to ground in, right? When I just want to float off like a bouquet of helium balloons. So I'm going to be, and this is part of, right? Sitting here and contemplation and taking in the lessons and having the conversations, right? That I might be able to be inspired to have an idea of what direction I'm going. Isn't that strange? I don't mind flying by the seat of my pants because sometimes in that hairy, scary of a direction, we can talk ourselves out of it. So maybe not having that finger saying go that way and right, knowing myself going charge. Here we go. We're at it again. That I could feel that sense of let's do some spring cleaning. Let's get some stuff accomplished around the house. If you want to be in your contemplation, right, go ahead. Be in that. I mean, right, it is all movement. And it is comfortable for me to sit in that, right? Whereas for lots of people, it wouldn't be comfortable. I enjoy my own company. I really do enjoy my own company and in my own surroundings. I do enjoy that. And oh boy, the dust I've been cleaning up in the past couple of days because I have been letting it go in that search for something more. And sometimes, right, just taking a look at our own house, right? Literally our own house, and recognizing that we have let things slide in other aspects of our lives that, right, possibly that this little rest that I'm having, this little break, which right, I'm calling, I don't know what I'm calling it. I'm calling it a stall. I'm calling it a stall, though I don't think it is a stall. I think it is just a moment of rest. I think it's a moment of regrouping and recouping and giving a fresh breath, right? Because we are in a season of renewal. I am. It's spring. Spring is coming in. I feel it in the air. I smell it. I sense it, right? I feel like I'm at the gates ready to take off into something new and exciting, but I don't see it and I don't feel it. And I'm not that person to go charge over something that might not be for me, right? That might be somebody else's perspective, or in my own perspective, just something just to keep me busy in the meantime. You guys, I have been at it. I really have been at it. We're going to pick a card, whether or not it relates to the conversation. What that conversation was just in that spring cleaning, in looking to be a little bit tough on myself and really not knowing that direction that I'm supposed to be going in this moment, knowing it's going to come to me, that maybe I can get a few things done in the meantime. And again, if I want to be in that contemplation, be in that contemplation. If I want to search out, right, and take in some thought leadership from amazing characters, because they are amazing characters with amazing lessons that will serve me well. And if they don't serve me even at all, there's still lessons that I have that I earned. And right, I'll pass on if I don't need it. Right, you never know who's going to come across my path who's going to need it. I'm just going to go into this word that I just dropped on the floor: compassion. Oh my goodness. A little bit of compassion for myself, a little bit of compassion for others, a little bit of compassion for the little bit of unsureness that are underneath our feet quite often when we're making that movement. Sometimes we're just getting little breadcrumbs, that we're just getting those ideas and those lessons and that direction for the next 5, 10 minutes, maybe if we're lucky, a couple of days, a week, right? But we're not seeing what the big picture is, right? But that if we can just keep moving in those things that we love, that make us smile? And if we have to ground in the work of it, can we whistle while we work, right? Can we be in our own contemplation while we're getting the job done, right? Not being distracted, right? By keeping ourselves busy in our minds, but being open to what comes to us, whether it's just the birds singing, the breeze running across our faces, right? Or a conversation that we just happen to be sitting in on, or actually able to get ourselves into because we learned a little bit of something on that subject, right? And it wasn't the lesson at the time, right? But just like keeping ourselves busy and and being a part of that conversation, that we get to learn a little something. And sometimes we just need that entry into the conversation, and you have no idea where that could lead to, what opportunity could pop up into that. Oh my goodness. I gave my 2 weeks notice and I had no idea that it was going to be so amazing. Like I've never had an experience like this with a job where I actually feel like I'm truly going to be missed, right? That I actually have this opportunity to say goodbye to people that over the years that I've gotten to know, that I've been let into their lives, that I've been able to practice my craft and be able to see the evidence in other people that, that we can make an impact, right? And that comes from having compassion, right? That really that really does, because that takes taking an interest in somebody else. And then what comes to my mind is being in the laundry room yesterday, and I was grabbing my clothes out of the dryer, and a lady walked in and she put on a big smile, and I could see her face was all red and her eyes were all red, and I could see the shakiness in her voice because I have spoken to her voice and I could before, and I could tell that she was sad. And I just came right out and I said, "So, are you okay? Right? You seem off today. You seem a little sad today." And then we had ended up having a conversation, and she appreciated that I noticed that she wasn't in the best of frame of mind. And sometimes it's just having that compassion for somebody else, right? And just recognizing that, you know, even though your day is going well, that the person who's walking beside you or sitting beside you or working beside you might not be having that day, right? And then if you recognize that, if you can have that compassion for somebody, right, then why can't we have that compassion for ourselves? And maybe that's the lesson, and that's why I pulled this card, right? That it's it's that compassion that I have to have for myself, right? That sometimes things just happen or don't happen for a reason, and I just have to accept that and not search out in my hypervigilance some kind of reason for that, right? Sometimes there doesn't have to be a reason, right? Sometimes in that lull of our everyday, day to day, it is just monotonous. It is just a rest. You guys, well, my rest is full of accomplishment because I was spring cleaning today, thanks to Ryan Holiday, who inspired me to get to work a little bit. And I got some whole closet stuff, and I got the air conditioner in. I got a few things done around the apartment, a few conversations made. I got ahead of the game, right? At the same time, I relaxed. I was kind to myself. Uh, I talked to myself a little bit more. I thought all day that I could get more done, and I probably could. I know I could have gotten more done. And I would have felt great for getting so much done because nothing gives me more happiness than accomplishment, right? The city could do a little bit of that. She's a happy camper in that. But the body sometimes, right? A good sleepy, sit on the couch, not our couch or chair or whatever, right? And just be relaxed and in content for where you're at or where you're not at, because it can always be better, but it can always be worse too, right? And sometimes it's just in that monotony of our day to days where uh, where we can find a little bit more compassion for ourselves. I'm gonna leave it. I'm gonna leave it at that, you guys. I am begged. My coffee is still hot. I just wanted to show up, but I tell you, I'm in the midst of it, and I'm sure lots of people are out there in that anticipation. And it shouldn't be anticipation in this moment. We're going into spring. We should be full force into that little bit of movement that we would like to make, right? That little bit of accomplishment, that little bit of goal setting that we set out for ourselves and be able to get a little bit accomplished, right? Right now, I'm relaxing. I'm in contemplation. I'm in my hypervigilance and I'm searching out answers. But you know what? It's all good because sometimes we do need to be preoccupied from what's really going on. I mean, after all, I just gave my notice in my job. I should be a little bit worried in going into the next few weeks because I have no idea what's going to happen. It should be interesting. But in the meantime, I'm just going to recoup and regroup like I've been doing the past few days. Okay, you guys, that's my good cheer. Have a great night.